5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment would strike $200 expenditure, another earmark for the Maine Lobster Research and Inshore Trawl Survey. Mr. Chairman, I have no doubt that this Maine Lobster Research and Inshore Trawl Survey is very important to the state of Maine. I have no doubt about that. I wonder, though, how much federal money is already going into lobster research. I wonder if it is truly a federal priority. How about catfish? How about pecans? How about research for yams and sweet potatoes?
You can imagine when I first saw this amendment, I was quite angry, and I don't want to be discouraged about the motives of the good representative from Texas, so I thought, well, perhaps the good representative from Texas just doesn't understand the importance of this to Maine. And as he said, in many ways he doesn't. I know because he has a farming district, I'm sure in his district it's important to him to have dairy program subsidies, cotton subsidies, wheat subsidies, millions of dollars of which come into his state every year. This is $200,000, Mr. Speaker, to a very important industry in our state, the lobster fishing industry. Now, if you're from Texas, fishing may seem like somewhat of a distant thing, and I understand that may be complicated, but let me just say that fishing is a common resource. This $200,000 helps us to monitor this fisheries, a very tightly controlled and restricted fisheries, but a very successful fisheries in our state because of it, and this is the subsidy that the federal government as well as our state government gives to help make sure that this stays a healthy resource. Now, just to give you a sense of the size of this industry, there are 7,000 licensed fishermen in the lobster industry. They brought in 69 million pounds of lobster in the last year. Now I know in Texas, $242 million may not sound like a substantial contribution to the economy, but that's big money in the state of Maine. And fishing is big business in our state and very important to our state. 85% of all the lobsters in this country come from the state of Maine. Now, it may be that you think about lobsters as some sort of glamorous food, but the fact is we're talking about hardworking fishermen. And let me tell you a little bit about how this industry works. By law in the state of Maine, these are basically individual entrepreneurs. Each one of these fishermen is a small business, and it's a family business for most people who go lobster fishing in the state of Maine. Unlike other states where you may have big corporate farms that get big corporate subsidies, these are individual fishermen. This is not a subsidy to them. This is making sure that there is a resource for them out there, and by law they operate as individuals. They buy the gas, they pay for their boats. Often their own children go to work with them on the boat every day. They get up early morning, work long, hard hours, and struggle with a resource that isn't always abundant and plentiful. That's why we need to monitor this resource. It's been a tough year for the fishermen in our state, partly because of the economic downturn. These fish are often processed in Canada, and the Canadian banks had a problem because they were affiliated with Iceland last year. So these fishermen have been struggling. These hard-working fishermen just want to make sure that there is a resource available to them in the future. Mr. Speaker, it is possible that the good representative from Texas did not understand how vital this was to the state of Maine. It is possible that he thought this would be a way to use our subsidy of the fishing industry as an example, but I just want him and everyone else here in this body to know that this is one of the most regulated fisheries in the world. These are some of the most hardworking fishermen in our country. This is an important resource to our state, and $200,000 isn't very much to ask to a lot of hardworking people who contribute to our economy in the state of Maine every day and in counting on our support. I hope that the good representative from Texas will withdraw his amendment, but if not, I urge everyone in this body to vote against this and to vote for the economy in the state of Maine.